Hello there, my name is Matt, and I'm the Grant Programs Coordinator at Mid-America Arts Alliance, and welcome to this walkthrough of the Creative Forces Community Engagement Grant application form. As a reminder, the deadline for the grant application is January 19th, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we recommend that you use the latest version of Google Chrome or Firefox as your internet browser to complete this application form. Finally, another recommendation is that you would type out your responses to these application questions on a separate Word document and then copy and paste your responses into the application form. This will ensure that your application information will not be lost in the case of a technical issue like an internet outage. Speaking of contingencies, you can save your application at any time by clicking the Save My Progress and Resume Later button and entering your email and a password that you can remember. Click Save. From this page, you can resume the form you were starting by clicking Resume this form now or Start a new form. But just to show you, you can resume a previously saved form by clicking on the blue text here, entering that email that you used to save before, and of course that password that you remember. Let's begin by entering the information for the applicant organization. We'll enter the applicant organization legal name. This is a fake organization I've come up with called Military Community Arts Incorporated. This organization is known by another legal name. I'll call it Mill Arts. Next, I'll put in the applicant address, in this case 123 Fake Street, and I'll say that this organization is in my town of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in zip code 15223. This organization does not have a mailing address different from its street address, so I'll select No. And I'll input the applicant website address and the primary email address for this application. Of course, we'll need a phone number to get in touch with you and let us know what type of phone it is, in this case an office. And finally, you can enter in all of the social media presence that your organization have: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have another, just go ahead and put in the website. In this case, I'll just enter in a fake Facebook account for my entity. Next, we can enter the information for the primary contact person for this grant. Next, please enter the information for a secondary contact person at your organization, just in case we can't get a hold of your primary contact. Now it's time to enter in some more information about your organization. Let's start with your Federal Employer Identification Number. Enter your Unique Entity Identifier Number as registered in SAM.gov. Please note that DUNS numbers are no longer accepted. Next, we'll need to enter your U.S. Congressional District Number. To do that, you can open this link to an openstates.org and enter in your zip code for your organization and click Search. Through these search results, you should be able to find your U.S. Congressional District Number, as well as your State House Legislative District Number, and your State Senate Legislative District Number. If your state or territory do not have these legislative houses, please enter 0. Next, enter the legal status of the organization, the type of institution that best describes your organization, and select your organization's primary area of work in the arts. Next, enter your mission statement for your organization. This is definitely one of those areas that you'll want to copy and paste from a Word document. Next, you can enter your annual operating budget for your organization's most recently completed fiscal year, or if it's more representative, a pre-COVID budget. Enter the population of your geographic service area, and identify if your organization has a history of creative or artistic endeavors, and provide a brief description. Similarly, identify if your organization has a history of implementing programs for or with the military community, and provide an explanation if so. Identify if there are any other arts and military programs or resources available in your service area, and provide a description of what those might be. And describe how your project is not duplicative of those opportunities that are available in your local area. Identify the extent to which your project has a clinic to community recommendation process in place. This is asking if your project has a way of referring clients from a clinical setting to your community project. Question 17 asks about your organization's policies and practices around accommodation for accessibility. If you answer not applicable or no to one of these statements, you will be asked to explain in a pop-up box. Now we can move on to the project information. Enter your project title, as well as the project start date and project end date. Project start dates must occur after July 1st of 2023. Emerging projects and one-year advanced projects should end by June 30th of 2024, and advanced two-year projects should end by June 30th of 2025. Enter the primary contact information for the person who will be running the project, as well as their job title and artistic discipline and contact information. Next, copy and paste in your project summary. Identify the project's primary discipline. And identify the primary type of activity involved in the project. If they have a second type of activity, you may also enter that in as well. Identify how much of the project involves arts education, and then copy and paste your full project description. Identify whether or not this is a pilot project, and identify which grant tier you're applying to, emerging or advancing. You may upload a project logic model or project evaluation plan if you have one available, though it is not required as part of your application. Finally, answer these questions about your project accessibility. Again, if you select no or not applicable to one of these prompts, you will be asked to provide an explanation in a pop-up box. Next, identify how the project will be implemented, be it an ongoing class or drop-in, a single event or participant cohort, etc. Identify how the project will take place, whether it'll be at your location or at a separate venue or online, and answer the accessibility questions for each. Next, identify the intended project outcomes based on the defined outcomes for this grant program. Click all that apply. Next, you can identify any potential risks to the military population that you're serving and describe those risks and how the applicant intends to mitigate or manage them. Next, describe how you will gauge the success of the project. The next section asks you to identify information about your participants and who you intend to serve. First, about how many participants will your project serve, enter an estimate, then select the intended participants of the project, and then identify the intended project outcomes for the participants as they align with the project outcomes for the grant project. Please explain why these participants were selected and what needs that this project addresses on their behalf. And then enter your recruitment plan in terms of how the participants will be recruited to participate in the project. The next section asks you to identify the individuals or organizations that are partnering with your organization to implement this project. Enter your partner's name and their address. Be sure to enter an email address for your partner and a website if they have one. Describe your partner's legal status if they're an organization. And the type of institution that they are. Enter the mission statement for your partner organization as well. Next, answer these questions about your partner's history of programming, whether in creative or artistic endeavors, or in implementing programs with or for the military community, and describe those programs if applicable. Identify the status of the partnership at the time of this application, and then provide a description of the nature of this partnership and how this partner advances or supports the project. Next, you should upload a letter of support for the project from this partner. And identify any project organizational outcomes that are applicable to this partner and their involvement in the project. If you have more than one organizational partner, you can click here to get another form and fill that out. And if you have an individual partner, you can click yes there and fill out a similar form on behalf of that individual. I've gone ahead and filled out a project budget template from the MA website that you can download and use at your convenience. If your organization uses another budget template already, please go ahead and use that and upload it later in the application. For now, you can see that I have some salary expenses, some contractual personnel expenses, and some other building expenses that I'll go ahead and enter into the application here. You can see that the application totals the project expenses here. So make sure that that matches the total of project expenses on your detailed budget. And be sure to add in any comments regarding the expenses to make sure what you're spending your money on. Next, we'll enter the project income. This includes the amount of grant funds that you are requesting from Creative Forces, as well as where the other funds for your project are coming from in order to meet the one-to-one match. You'll see that this application has a grant from a local organization, so we'll enter that information there. And our organization will also be making an in-kind donation for the space costs that we'd reference in the expenditures. And please make any comments that you find necessary. Moving on to the document upload section, please upload a project timeline that expresses when the project will begin and start, including any planning periods or evaluation periods. Upload any artist or personnel resumes that might be relevant to your project to show the capacity. Upload the full project budget with details, again either using the MA template or your company's own template, and any other application support documents that you'd like to add. Finally, be sure to read through the certification language here. And then enter the name of the person submitting the application, as well as their email address to confirm. This is the email address to whom we will send the confirmation of the receipt of this application. If you have any questions, please be sure to reach out to me at creativeforces@maaa.org. Otherwise, you can click submit, and you should see this confirmation page, and you will receive an email in your inbox that the application has been submitted. Thank you so much.